Today I first woke up at around, I would say 7:30 in the morning. I believe I then stayed up until either 8 in the morning or 9 in the morning. I then went back to bed. Actually, I believe I initially got up at 4:30. I went back to bed around 8 in the morning. I woke up about 30 minutes before noon. And that's when I would go to help Mom clean up the basement for approximately roughly 3 hours, I would say. From noon to roughly 3 p.m. During this process, I would find 6 pieces of styrofoam, mostly within Willow Inn cardboard, little boxes made out of cardboard, that I believe contained faceless people sculptures made out of clay or something similar to it. I also found an old Fisher-Price aquarium toy. It had inside it what I assume to be water that got discolorized. By those fish toy things in it. It was some sort of dark brown, kind of like that color from what I recall. And maybe it cracked or broke a bit over the years. Because the big cardboard box it was within had a bit of spillage in it. And maybe that was from when I was moving stuff around in order to put small toy pieces within that big cardboard box within the clutter room within the basement that contains a bunch of old toys from my childhood into this series of plastic bins connected to a blue frame. The top one is green, the middle one yellow, and the deeper red one being at the bottom. I did that in an effort to make the clutter room appear less cluttered. And to that end, I threw a bunch of things that were originally on the floor near essentially in the middle of the room. I threw those things to the far right corners of the room, top and bottom. Toward where the bed was and just in front of it. There was also a point in which I found a card me and my sister made for Mother's Day years ago. I would say back in 2016 at the latest, by my guess. We must have took a plain piece of paper, folded it in half, and then drew on it. I showed it to Mom, and when she finally got to see it for the first time in years, it made her really happy, making it one of the highlights of the whole cleanup operation, which only lasted a few hours and only resulted in the basement looking mildly less cluttered. Mom got up at around 7:30 in the morning, and she had been working nonstop on the basement, where I woke up around 11:30 in the morning and then started helping her at noon. Excuse me, she was very thankful for the help, and during that help, I found a couple special Beanie Babies that we own, which we could either keep or sell for some profit, such as the Ronald McDonald House charity and the Bear special, which is a sort of smallish dark green bear plushie that's still in its original packaging. After all these years, and then there was this, I think it was something called, when I think of it, I think of Honey Kangaroo. It was beige colored and had a tail. Had some kind of poem about nuts, berries, and fish together make it a great dish. And I knew that because it still had the original Beanie Baby tag on one of its ears. And doing my part, making trips from the basement to this level in order to get empty large Kroger's or Froger's coffee containers so that Mom could use them to store things like the oil pastels and crayons from an old East Day artist kit, which also had a whole bunch of markers, but I consider the Sharpie marker brand to be the best brand to use for drawing on styrofoam. I have no reason to believe otherwise, and even if I did, it seemed like a high chance that all the markers would be dried out by now. That art kit also contains some whiteout and a paint kit with a brush in it. But there was also no use for that either. Ooh. Mama set aside container solely to store coins, another to store batteries, then another to store light bulbs. I recently upgraded my Golden Abyss Ancient Wonder, but clearly there's a need to do so again. Obviously I don't have enough coins, what with all the opportunities to spend them. I'm currently researching diplomacy within Stronghold Kingdoms so that I can complete the Diplomat 1 quest, hopefully soon, which would open the doors to new quests, hopefully ones I'll also be able to complete. Also, that Fisher-Price aquarium toy, Mom had to wrap it around with a plastic white garbage bag. I think a bit of the water got in my hands. I at least assume it was water, but Mom thinks it could have been some kind of chemical stuff. Very much alike water, and you can't really be sure. So she had me wash my hands within the bathroom. That's at this level. Most of the styrofoam pieces I found, mostly within the first hour of me starting operations to help Mom, during which the whole time I repeatedly told her not to throw anything away unless it has no sentimental value. And Mom shares the same viewpoint in regards to our stuff. All the stuff that was thrown out, I believe a lot of it belonged to my sister, and it all fit within one hefty, that's the name of the brand, black plastic garbage bag. The white ones are a different brand, or maybe they're also hefty, but I'm not quite sure. Also, at another point, I think shortly after finding that Mother's Day card, which she brought up to her bedroom and saved, I also found an old card Grandma, Mom's side of the family, got my sister years ago. I had a picture of what I presume to be two blonde-haired male boys, possibly angels, in that sort of Renaissance painting style, with a thick blue/purplish decorative ornate border around it. The card itself on the inside was mostly white, and it was a little water damaged, so this corner on the right side of the insides was wet, and so the pen on it had been washed away significantly, but it was still legible. And I believe Mom also saved it. Since it's one of the old cards sent to my sister by Grandma on Mom's side of the family. In regards to the 99th Dan Hamming episode, I'm just grateful I haven't lost any work on what is currently a 12.5-minute Dan Hamming episode. Because when you get into a situation where TechSmith Camtasia 2019 has to make an autosave of your project, there is a chance, I'm not sure what it is exactly, but there is a chance that they won't be able to retrieve that autosave, and you'll have to go back to your last save draft manually of that Camtasia project. Whenever the program is closed unexpectedly without being saved, your current project being saved first. I think I'm currently thinking I've got some kind of audio volume problem with the 7th raw video file. I went back to the 6th and 5th raw video files in order to resolve inconsistencies in the audio. And right now I'm currently just working on custom props for a transition from the hospital scene to the scene between Kent and Ginger that I'm currently working on, or maybe it could be more realistically referred to as a trailer park community scene. As I also created a scene that briefly depicts Kate along with both a custom business-friendly character I created and a styrofoam prop character. Of which I gave them both voices through what is currently the 1.3.0 beta of Rapper Offline. And in fact, it's what I currently use to put non-business themed characters in Dan Hamming episodes. It's why I use Camtasia and a registered copy of Bandicam to make the Dan Hamming episodes nowadays. With the 99th being the first one to be made, under this process. All the previous ones I could access the Legacy Video Maker officially through Beyond and access non-business characters through starters, but that changed a while back. And I use Beyond Studio in order to create the raw video files. Excuse me. Also, after the basement cleaning work, I think somewhere between 5 and 6 p.m., Mom and Johnny went to a big top store for some groceries, and then they went to Wegmans in order to get subs. For me, they got me a meatball sub. As I stated, that was my first choice, and then my second choice was a salami turkey and bacon sub. As I said at the time, I believe that was at around 8:40 p.m. around that time. And then within half an hour they got home, and I ended up eating half of the meatball sub they got me, which I believe is one of those foot-long meatball subs. And it tasted pretty good. I had it with a sparkling ice beverage like this, which may or may not have been the same flavor as this one. Maybe instead of it being coconut pineapple, it was mango or something similarly colored to this effect.